A rising star in advertising, Molly Elliott, 28 years old, wraps up work at her office in the French Quarter. She's supposed to meet her husband for date night, but she never makes it to dinner because someone is watching. A parking lot attendant on the job in uniform kidnaps her at gunpoint. He doesn't just take her car, he takes everything. What happened to Molly Elliott? Let's recap. Molly Elliott, 28 years old, smart, successful, and newly married, is wrapping up her workday in the French Quarter of New Orleans. She leaves her office at Peter Mayer Advertising around 5 p.m. She's parked at the Sheraton Hotel garage, just a few blocks away. She's headed to meet her husband for dinner. It's supposed to be date night, a holiday weekend ahead, a normal, happy night. But someone else has plans for Molly. Jesse Hoffman, he's 18 years old. He's only been working as a valet at the garage for 2 weeks. But tonight, he's not waiting to park a car. He's about to steal a life. As Molly walks to her car, he pulls a gun, forces her inside, makes her drive to the nearest ATM, then demands she take out $200. The ATM camera catches it all. Molly is terrified and shaking, and standing next to her is her abductor. And here's the thing, even if Jesse just let her go after that, it already would have been the most horrific night of her life, but it's not over. After getting the cash, Jesse forces Molly to keep driving, this time out of the city. She drives for at least an hour, and the whole way she begs him not to hurt her, pleads for her life. We know this because Jesse later confessed. They end up in a remote part of St. Tammany Parish. They pull off the main road and he rapes her. And then he makes her get out of the car. Stripped of everything, even her clothes, Molly is forced to walk more than 50 yards down a dirt path, barefoot, through broken glass, garbage, and rocks. It's an old dumping ground, and that's exactly how he treats her. He tells investigators he didn't want to carry her body, so he makes her walk to her own execution. Cold, calculated, cruel beyond words. Molly's death march ends at a small, rotting dock along the river. And that's where Jesse makes her kneel, and then he pulls the trigger, execution style. They say Molly may have survived for a few minutes after the shot, but Jesse doesn't stick around. He doesn't call for help. He leaves her there, nude, bleeding, and alone on a freezing November night. And that's how a duck hunter finds her at 7:45 a.m. Thanksgiving Day, 1996. She was just 28 years old, and everything was stolen from her. Before her name was tied to tragedy, Molly Elliott was Mary Margaret Murphy, a bright, ambitious young woman from Phoenix, Arizona. She worked hard, studied in Southern California, and after college, she landed a top job at a major ad agency in Los Angeles, one of the most competitive cities in the business. Now, Molly wasn't just smart. She was a star on the rise, but her life wasn't just about work. She met Andy Elliott. They fell in love, and in 1994, they left LA behind for a quieter life just north of New Orleans in Covington, Louisiana, where they bought a house in the country and filled it with animals. Dogs, cats, whoever needed love, they had room for. They got married in the spring of 1995. Less than 2 years later, everything would be ripped away. At Jesse's trial, Andy described his wife as very intelligent, very warm, and above all, trusting. She didn't see a threat in an 18-year-old valet, but she should have. So who was Jesse Hoffman? How does an 18-year-old kid go from high school graduation to death row in just a few months. He grew up poor, one of several kids in an abusive home, and yet Jesse wasn't some lost cause. He played for his high school football team, pulled straight A's through his junior year. Teachers saw potential, but then things changed. He got serious with a girlfriend, his grades slipped, his focus disappeared. In 1996, he graduated, barely, and started bouncing between jobs, restaurant gigs, hotel work, whatever he could get. That's how he ended up as a valet at the Sheridan Garage in New Orleans. It was a paycheck, a fresh start, but less than 3 weeks into the job, he committed one of the most cold-blooded crimes the city had ever seen. For 2 long days, no one knew where Molly Elliott was. She never showed up for dinner, never made it home. Her husband, Andy, reported her missing that night. And while the city prepared for Thanksgiving, he was praying for answers. Then, on the morning of November 28, a duck hunter stumbles on something horrifying: Molly's body. She's found naked and abandoned on a makeshift dock in a remote part of St. Tammany Parish. Just hours later, Andy Elliott is brought in to identify his wife's body. His worst nightmare confirmed. Meanwhile, police start piecing together the evidence, and the clues come fast. A couple reported finding Molly's clothing and personal items dumped in a vacant lot. Among them, 3 ATM receipts. Those slips traced back to the ATM where Molly was forced to withdraw cash. That footage gave police the next critical lead: a clear image of her at the ATM, and standing next to her is Jesse Hoffman, holding a gun. And it didn't take long to find him. Turns out he used the money he stole from Molly to take his girlfriend shopping, just hours after the murder. Once they had him, it didn't take long for the truth to come out. And thanks to the mountain of evidence against him, the case was sealed. Jesse Hoffman was tried for rape, kidnapping, and first-degree murder, and the state of Louisiana went for the death penalty. He was convicted on June 25, 1998. The verdict, inevitable, but the punishment, that would take nearly 3 decades. Years of appeals, legal delays, a justice system stuck in limbo. And for Molly's family, it was 29 years of waiting until March 18, 2025. That's when Jesse Hoffman became the first person in Louisiana history, and only the 5th in the U.S., to be executed using nitrogen gas. It marked Louisiana's first execution in over 15 years. He refused a last meal, refused to make a final statement. Andy Elliott, who has since remarried and become a father of 3, remembered his cherished first wife, who missed out on motherhood, a promising and successful career, and a life in the country on the property they'd bought together. She was only 28 when Jesse took her life. So sad. Do you think justice was finally served in this case? I'm Amy. Chris and I are here with more crime in half the time every week. Until next time, stay safe out there.